Previously on the 31 Nights of Halloween Horror.
富江という名前に聞き覚えはありませんか？
悪夢は終わらない。
我々の事務所にちょっと不思議な内部資料がありましてね。そのファイルの背にはこう書かれているんですよ。いわゆる富江関連事件。
富江は殺されても細胞の一部からでも再生することができる。
左目の下にほくろがある女の人のこと見たことない？
富江は俺のもんだ。
富江はどんどん増えている。
富江リベンジ。
What's up, everybody? Yo, this is me, Zankoku, bringing you another episode of the 31 Nights of Halloween Horror Lives Again. I welcome all 0 people watching this and all 0 people watching my last couple videos. Apparently nobody gives a shit about Tomie except me, but I don't care. I'm continuing on because this is a promise I made to myself. And so, where we left off was the horrendously bad Tomie revenge. Do we rebound with Tomie versus Tomie? Well, kind of. Now, before I start, the version I watched had the worst subtitles I have ever seen in a foreign movie. In fact, I think I probably would have had a better time understanding what was going on in the movie if I watched the one with Spanish subtitles. That being said, from what I've pieced together, this is the plot of the movie. 2 young girls were injected, well, I guess they were babies. 2 babies were injected with Tomie's blood. I don't know why. There's sort of an explanation, but the I couldn't make really exactly why. Some guy did it. I don't know if he could, so that he could have Tomie forever or something. I don't understand exactly because of the bad translation. But anyways, and then these girls, you know, grew up to be Tomies, except, you know, each one had their own unique look, and they were beautiful, and all men, you know, worshipped them. The problem was they weren't perfect Tomies. They're starting to fall apart, you know, getting, you know, their skin falling apart and stuff like that. And so, one of the Tomies believes that she can regain some of her, I guess, flesh by killing and having the blood of the other Tomie. Though both of them do realize if they find the real Tomie, they can use her blood, but, you know, good luck finding the real Tomie. In fact, I think maybe one of the plot lines, even though it said that they knew each other from birth and they became enemies, was that the one Tomie probably thought that the other one was a real Tomie and needed her blood, and did not realize that she was, you know, a faux Tomie like her. Anyway, so let's go. So we have this one Tomie who is wearing a red dress, and the other Tomie wears a black dress. And you really see very little of her. But so the red dress Tomie, who is the main Tomie in this story, is kind of kept in the upstairs room in this mannequin warehouse, manufacturing place, whatever. And she takes a special interest in one of the new hires. This new hire is a guy whose girlfriend was killed in front of him, and he is struggling with the nightmares and the abandonment, and finally, through the help of a doctor, has kind of gotten with it, and now is starting a new job, starting a new life. And she sees him, and of course she's interested, so she has her slave boys bring him to her. And of course he is still totally into his ex-girlfriend, and doesn't show her the time of day. Actually, he's kind of haunted by his girlfriend. Her bloody face always shows up to, say, we promise to always be together. And so that prevents him from falling for Tomie's charms, which perplexes Tomie, because every guy, and, just melts away, and she can use them, and they all do stupid things and end up killing her or stuff like this. But this one's different, and she's really intrigued, and she really wants to find out what it is. So she tries to push the envelope, try to get him to fall for her. In a way, I kind of feel sorry for this Tomie, because even though I guess she's sort of in control of the guys, she seems to be more like a prisoner in this place than anything else. Well, apparently another person who works at that same mannequin shop is infatuated with the other Tomie, and figures out that they have another Tomie being held there. And so he has this plan to get his Tomie to, capture and kill the other Tomie for her blood. I know, it sounds a little weird, but bear with me. And of course, the one guy, the new guy, which I don't know his name because I keep calling him One Tree, because they took the name and translated the name. So instead of Tomie, instead of them saying Tomie in the translation subtitles, it actually says something like Enriched River or something. Enriched River. Okay, wow. So it was kind of hard to figure out, what the guy's name, because I'm trying to hear, but half of me is just like whatever. I don't give a shit anymore. So, anyways. So he kind of gets in between the little battle royale, and we get some pretty interesting revelations about him and his girlfriend, and about the Tomies, and the series in general. So it begs some really important questions, like, are all the infected Tomie girls the same type of deal as them? Are they gonna fall apart eventually? And maybe that's why they have this deep-seated hatred, according to the last one, Revenge, to kill or to attack the original Tomie so that they can get her blood and be whole. I mean, I guess that's a possibility, and would explain some of what happens with Revenge. But another question is, does another thing that I'm thinking about that arises is that the Tomie in this one, the main character, the red one, seems to be the most, I guess, human outside of the Rebirth one, where, she's still evil, but this one seems a lot more sympathetic, a lot more tragic. She doesn't seem as vile, at least in the beginning, she was kind of, but in the end, she felt like, someone who was just, alone and hurting and wanted to be saved, really. And so the main guy was her maybe chance to make it, have a real life or something like that. I don't know. But all in all, the story, from what I could put together, added some to the whole Tomie mythos. We've got people infecting other people, but it sort of also fails the premise that I was looking for, which was a true battle royale between two Tomies with cross purposes. And I wanted, like, you know, original Tomies fighting each other, you know, regenerate, because you said they say any piece of her can regenerate into another Tomie, and does that mean that there are multiple clone Tomies out there? And I wanted them to kind of fight it out, but that didn't happen. I guess another thing, it kind of begs, or not begs, it kind of puts the question there, is that why does Tomie always look like a different person in each movie? Is it because they're all like clone Tomies and the original Tomie is somewhere not to be found? Is another interesting thing to think of. But anyways, I've kind of rambled a little bit on this. Let's get to those scores. Violence and gore, 2 out of 5. Honestly, there's only one scene that really ratcheted up to 2 out of 5, and it was kind of gruesome, so I give it a 2 out of 5. Otherwise, not so much. Some CG bullshit, which kind of sucks. But there you go, 2 out of 5. Shock value, 2 out of 5. There's a couple different things that are shocking in this movie, but still not below average amount. So 2 out of 5. Plot. Here's the thing: 3.5 out of 5. I give it a lot of points because it is an interesting concept, and it doesn't totally fuck it over. It actually, I think, did a decent job with the concept, and I really wish that they would maybe make a really proper English translation for this, so that I can see if what I thought was going on was actually what was going on, because that could change the score. But as what I'm seeing it is an interesting sort of study on one of the Tomies. Even though the whole Tomie versus Tomie thing is so small and not really much of the movie, it's basically the end for a few moments. But the story going up to that, the kind of twist with the one guy, I thought was interesting and pretty good and thought provoking, and I thought so it deserved better than average, and it was almost great. They could have done a bit more to make it even better, but alas, this is kind of like a straight-to-DVD type of B movie, so this is what you get. So, acting, 2 out of 5. Some people did some good jobs, but the rest was really bad overacting. Anyways, so 2 out of 5. Nudity, 0 out of 5. I mean, I think you know, the only thing was that first movie, and then nothing more, right? So 0 out of 5. Enjoyment, 3 out of 5. You know, personally, I'm really interested in the Tomie line, almost storyline, almost to the point where I'm thinking about actually trying to get into the manga. That's how interesting I find it. So my own personal enjoyment was 3 out of 5. Seeing a new type of thread, plot line really piqued my interest and allowed me to enjoy this movie more than I would if I had no interest in Tomie. So that's why the overall impression is 2 out of 5. It's a below average movie with below average effects. You know, the same kind of slow Tomie crawl at the beginning, and you know, I mean, I think for a fan of Tomie, you might find this a solid movie, but for anyone else and anyone who doesn't like Tomie is definitely not going to like this, because all in all together, it is kind of a subpar movie, though, you know, I think that the plot is actually interesting, but if you don't like Tomie, you're probably going to think the plot is stupid, and so there we go, take some grain of salt. So that's an average score of 2.1 out of 5. And there we go. My ramblings on Tomie versus Tomie are pretty much complete. And so here they are, my review of Tomie Revenge, the horrible, horrible movie that it is. And here is going to be Tomie Unlimited, directed by the man who did Machine Girl himself. So hopefully there's going to be a lot of ultra violence and a little bit more action. And maybe some fan service. I doubt it though, because there wasn't really anything in Machine Girl. But perhaps a lot more. Maybe get that violence and gore score up now. And I've heard some things. I've heard some good things about it. But you know, I guess we'll see. Hopefully, I'll get a decent English translation if I can find one. Otherwise, I'm just gonna have to watch it and try to figure it out based on the fact that it's a remake of the first one. So I kind of already know what the plot is. I can maybe try to figure things out. But anyway, so that's it. Yeah. No, I mean, I am really kind of digging the whole Tomie. I mean, the whole idea of it seems very interesting because it's not just like, you know, someone who dies, because you got to put yourself in that character. You know, you've been killed so many times, and obviously you don't enjoy getting killed, and you still feel the pain. And you know, you can see that that would give you all this animosity, especially towards guys, because, you know, they're the ones who end up killing you. But, I mean, do you just, I mean, have you always been evil, or did you kind of become twisted because of your experiences like that? I don't know, but I think there's just a lot of interesting storylines that can kind of pan out from that concept. So anyways, there you go, reviews. See you tomorrow night. All 0 of you not watching. Ha 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 ha. Ja mata na. Na. The f can I say? Ja mata ne. Okay, whatever. Goodbye.